And here we are. How did it go from 5x5s to no sound? So, somebody tell me that. Thank you for all the feedback now. But I was getting 5x5, so I there they are. All right. Yeah, I was getting them in so I thought I was good. I didn't even have to do the mic check, but nope. Nope. Here we go. Thank you for all the feedback, guys. Much love and good evening. Hope you're doing well. I was saying thank you for joining. Thank you to everyone out there that shares the stream. Appreciate it as always. And Dubs is giving some shout outs there in the chat as well. Much love to Lord McCormick. Also, someone, welcome to the underground. It's good to see everybody out there. Hope you're doing well. Starting off with a beautiful shot there. That is actually off the coast of Jersey. New Jersey, where all these drones and all that stuff's been going on. So we're going to dive into that as well. I didn't have enough room in the title to put all that in there, but that's just how it is these days. There's always a ton going down. Steve in the house. The judge with his yellow dog. I'm going to get this popping. I do want to make mention here real quick. Might as well try to pull it up here. Space weather. All right, we didn't have one today, but we did have an impulsive X-class solar flare that let loose off the sun yesterday. It did cause shortwave radio blackouts over southern Africa, and it hurled a CME into space. It's not going to hit Earth, though. But we do have a lot of action out there in terms of the winds and just lights out there. These are northern lights here. And a lot of the farmers saying that it's causing issues with their farming. You got to go into the day-night cycle, and it's like disrupting it. They're getting so bright. So, I mean, some of the parts of the world, like Alaska, you're dark, for so long, and then other parts of the world, I've seen like explained in Antarctica where the sun never sets, just goes around in the sky, on certain days during certain times. You're not going to grow much in either of those two places, I feel. Anyhow, sun's still active. It's been kind of quiet as of late, but it's still entering. We're in solar max, solar cycle 25. And yeah, man, just keeping track of it. Haven't seen any major earthquake activity after the big one hit on the West Coast. If I see any of that, I'll update with a video. All right, I've talked about coffee many times. And I've talked about the benefits of it. Well, now we've got more. We've got 11 key health benefits from drinking coffee the right way, as they say here. And I'm just going to run down the list here. For those that thinking, well, who knows what people were thinking about it. This is some of the facts here. Type 2 diabetes is the number one thing you can knock back. Number 2, high blood pressure. Number 3, cardiovascular disease. Number 4, periodontal disease. 5 is gout. 6 is metabolic disease. 7 is obesity. 8, skin conditions. 9, hair loss. 10, neurological disorder. 11, cancer. Of course, they don't ever put out much of any information on that, and anything that will help fight it, any natural ways to counter it, These are some of the things I'm really waiting to see if they happen with this whole shakeup with RFK coming in. It's supposed to be dismantling all these bad areas of the government and the health sector. Um, Coffee can do a lot for you. It can also clean you out and keep you regular. If you're having issues with that, it is a diuretic. If you don't know, if you're never not used to it, and you're drinking, you're like, man, it's got me going to the bathroom left and right. Well, for some people it may, because it is just that. Help to cleanse the system. All right, let's jump into some financials. I can't really talk about the whole crypto game or anything like that without mentioning this story because it's got a lot of attention. Sparrow in house. And yeah, shout outs to Beard Vet. Go Beard Vet if you guys go check out the really good coffee. They've had, I don't know, some things going on behind the curtain. So I've just kind of just letting them do their thing, working that out. Gonna speak on anything crazy, but much love to Sean, which is the original OG. He is Beard Vet. That's my dude. But the other people on his team that are causing him some issues, they need to stop it. Yeah, salutes. Much love, hoodie. But if you don't know, capital gains taxes are something that people pay out there all the time. But there's different classifications of what you're going to pay in terms of taxes on certain items. How long you keep it always plays big. If you're doing things like day trading with crypto or with stocks, they're going to try to come at you with capital gains, or they're going to tax it just like it's income, basically, if you're doing it like that. Well, it's been kind of stupid if you ask me this whole time, because I've always said, okay, this is supposed to be the next form of money, and you're taxing. It doesn't make any sense. Well, even Trump is caught on camera by saying the same thing, that, it's money, and it makes no sense that you're taxing the money itself. It's like, that's got to be done. He basically says Bitcoin is money, and you have to pay capital gains tax if you buy a cup of coffee. Seriously. So they're saying he's the man to do away with it now, and that they could make the United States the Bitcoin superpower, which that was always the plan anyway. I mean, NSA created it, if you don't know. As I've said before, just be aware of the tax implications on all the moves. If they do away with that, dude, this is a wide open market then. The trap that was there on so many people is gone. It's alleviated. Yes, they can track you in all those things I've warned you about. But in terms of everyday people getting into it and like sending it to a friend or buying something with it and not realizing that every move they make is taxed, that's a trap. You can't have that. And that's exactly what Trump said. And I will say this, if he makes this move, it's only going to embolden all of it, and you're probably going to see a super bull market. Like right now, Bitcoin's at the top of a bull market. It's just kind of meandering around 100,000. Alt season, if you will. All the alts are catching up, surging. But this is very topish. But in crypto, one thing can happen. Like a whale can jump in at any time, multiple players at any time, and they can shake the game up for bad or for good. They could pump it really high, but usually when this thing goes high and it goes parabolic, it comes crashing down pretty hard. Nothing goes on forever. All right, this is one thing I got to make clear. To anybody getting into the game, anyone trading stocks or thinking about crypto, any of that, nothing lasts forever. Meaning, don't go thinking you're going to buy Amazon and that it's going to just always keep gaining and gaining and gaining. It's just not how it works. Pull up a chart, any chart out there, and you're going to see they go up and down. And, out of a decade, you may see just a handful of spikes on certain stocks or coins. That's the bull run. All the rest of the time is spent in a bear market. So we're in a very small window right now. You're hearing all this hype and all this stuff out there. Don't go investing in something and thinking that, this time next year, Bitcoin could be 250,000, 500,000, this and that. Unfortunately, it's not how it works. It can down the road if you long hold it. And maybe that's what you just need to do. Just buy it, forget about it, and check back in on 10 years down the road. It could be worth $1 million. Who knows? It could be worth zero also, because it is nothing. It's a digital nothing. I say this all the time. CBDCs, all that stuff, it all is a digital nothing. Unless you can hold it in your hand. Someone can just take it in the blink of an eye. Just saying, the game is changing. If Trump makes these moves, man, because most of the places around the planet don't tax it as capital gains. If you just look at the numbers, it's pretty crazy. But I feel they think that there's more money to be made within the market, and it's better for them idealistically to push all of it, the technology, just push it on through. And if he removes those taxes on it, man, I'm telling you, it could open up the opportunity to make some money for some people. That's all I'm saying. You don't see a whole lot of that. Although gold and silver is where it's at because there's no taxes on that whatsoever if you're in the right state. I can't speak for it if you're in a commie state. I just can't. And that sucks because I'd like to see everyone out there benefit from no taxes on gold and silver. That's where it's at. Gold, the silver, that's where it's at if you ask me. But an opportunity is an opportunity. Okay? And I've told you many times, at the height of this market, I'd be looking into personally shorting things. I'd be just watching tops. That's what we call it. I was talking to my boy Watchers earlier about some things. Yes, and the rigging is very real. Precious metals and all that via the US dollar and our markets have been rigged for years. And JP Morgan Chase, that's in control of all that, has been caught manipulating the markets many times throughout the past couple decades. I've reported on it several times. So it's all rigged, yes. But one day, the top's going to come off this. And when BRICS gets really set up, like fully, and it's like almost there, and they start valuing gold in their currency denominations, things are going to change. It can't just be held under the hood of a U.S. dollar controlled by the U.S. at that point. And the price of gold could go through the roof. And China and all them would love to do that because it's only going to make them more wealthy, make them worth more because they're sitting on hoards of it. Not to mention China just found the biggest reserve on the planet when it comes to gold. China. They control a lot of things. They control a lot of minerals, a lot of resources here on this world stage. Already, Trump's not even in, and look what they're doing. They're blocking drone supplies that are crucial to Ukraine and everything else, like everyday drone supplies. This is going to affect the drone market, period. It should force the hands of Americans and American companies to start making their own. Because that's what we need to do. We need to be making our own everything as much as possible. Our manufacturing is in the gutter. China's taking the lead, and you guys know this. Everybody's heard of the sweatshops in China that are making knockoffs of everything and selling it for dirt cheap and all this stuff. Well, that's where most of the companies took their manufacturing because it was cheap. Man, and that's just ridiculous. They shouldn't do that. Them doing that got us into this position in the first place. They should keep it here. And that's what Trump said last time. He was like telling companies you should stay here. going and putting it on places like John Deere and others that were saying they were going to leave the country. And it's like, no, if you do that, like, I'm just going to hit you with this and that and blah, blah, blah. So the companies need to stay here. They need to thrive. They need to grow. China is going to continue to cut us off if we don't. And they're starting to make chips here. They're starting to make more solar panels here. All those things. But in terms of cleaning up this whole government, they're putting a lot of hope into this Doge, as it's called. And all this is one big shill of a cryptocurrency called Doge, if you don't know. Representing a dog. And again, it is literally nothing. It's just a meme. And it's worth billions. You got people starving out there on the streets. But now you've got meme coins worth billions. It's disgusting. Why don't somebody come along and name one hunger or homeless or something and then raise the money for the coin and give it all to them? Huh? Can't somebody, one person, do anything righteous? Just self-centered piece of it. It's all it is everywhere in this devilish world. Knowing all these cats out here got all this money. When you see it in crypto, how much money's over there in every single coin, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. You see, there's that much money out there floating around. And we've got homelessness and hunger and all this. I'll never forget when Elon was asked about that, the world's richest man, he tried to give some hypothetical reason that it wouldn't be worth it or something in the long run. But dude, it's worth it if you care. And you'll tell them by the fruits. Joe, are you in the chat talking about a McRib? He's probably like, oh crap. McDonald's is banned in my chat. And I'm going to get to, we're going to talk about McDonald's here in a bit. I'm just joking. I'm just had to poke some fun. But how I am on McDonald's and the toxins and stuff. But you already know that. I've got my senator here, Rand Paul, speaking here on what Ramaswamy and Elon need to do in terms of really changing things. Because I'm sitting here like, is this just all talk? Or are they really going to come through with something? I guess, we're going to find out. But, I'm going to be calling it out every step of the way. And we're going to be, as we always do, 3 days a week, going live, covering all the madness. They're either going to be keeping it real or not. There's only one way to find out. We got to live it out.
Rand Paul, Senator, it is great to have you back on the angle. It's been a while. Now, I know you've been constantly focused on this, and you've been with Vivek this week. What ideas have you given him? Because he's looking to you for ideas, other than, of course, as we were saying, getting the federal workers back in the office.
One of my favorite examples of federal workers not showing up is a few years ago we had an assistant to the head of the EPA, and he told his boss that he also worked for the CIA, and so he would be gone for 6 months at a time. Finally, we had a shutdown, and someone called the CIA and said, hey, Mr. Smith, we understand works for you, but we haven't seen him in 6 months. And they said, who? They'd never heard of the guy. The guy completely made up a story about working for the CIA. And for nearly a decade, millions of dollars was paid to this man, and he just wouldn't show up. And I always imagine him like out in his chaise lounge, drinking a beer, saying, yes, I'm on secret mission in the Middle East now. Can't talk, But that kind of stuff runs rampant throughout government. So you can save money. Now, people say, oh, you can't balance a budget by making people go back to work. You certainly can start. When Elon Musk told the people at Twitter they would have to go back to work, a third of them quit. They're not used to work. When Elon Musk told them that when you come back to work, be prepared to do overtime, another third quit. So you can get rid of a lot of people, saves a lot of money. But ultimately, there are a lot of rules that protect federal workers, so you need to outsource things. I had it out with the Postmaster General the other day. They lost $6.5 billion 2 years ago. Last year, they lost $9.5 billion. The only way you can have better rules about making them work and show up is you have to outsource it. You can't keep hiring more government employees. You have to make them non-governmental employees.
So, I mean, that's just an example I wanted to play right there real quick. That if you missed it, he was just saying there was a guy that was going on shows acting like he worked for the CIA and like all this money was being spent for him to come on to talk on shows as an analyst and all this stuff, and he was a fraud. And the guy was making millions, and he was giving an example here of how you can stop all that. So, I don't know, this whole thing with Doge, it's one of the biggest shills I've ever seen of anything. The fact that he called it this, which again, it's a cryptocurrency called Doge. It's like number 4, 5, 6, something like that. And it's nothing. It's like a dog. It's a meme coin. It's like a big joke. And he comes out and he says this. Department, names it. And they run with it. Man, all this was planned. All this was planned. Them coming into this, them announcing it, naming this, crypto being at the top of a bull market, Trump coming in being the crypto guy. For sure. This was all plotted and planned. So they're saying 14,000 federal employees got into our private financial data. And they did so over 3 million times under the Biden regime, trying to target conservatives and Trump supporters. It's like it's ridiculous for it to be weaponized like that. Someone shouldn't be able to go and look and be like, oh, he's a registered Republican. Get him. Like, what? Like, why do you even have to? I don't know. I've got so many questions about this messed up game that they call elections. This is just a farce. I could make it very, very easy on everyone if I was president, if I was in charge of some of this. Or if I could make the rules, I would simply take helicopter or satellite shots of every town on election day. And it could be different. It could give them a week. I've said this before. Have all the Republicans stand in one field in town and all the Democrats stand in another. And just take a dang head count. That's it. It's over. Everybody show up on election day and just stand in a field. You could take a picture, go take a head count, and voila, we'll have you president. You can't cheat that. I suppose you could cheat anything you could try, but I think get your drones in the air, keep them honest. I think it'd be rather obvious when you start to see field after field after field that is dismal, and field after field after field that's packed. And it just goes to show right there. You can't play this game anymore. For real. Wow. I'm going to keep pushing. Look at Elon's boy. I gotta show him because the world's richest man's son. Come on, this kid's gonna. It reminds me a lot of Barron Trump. Seeing Barron when he was a kid. He was staying in the penthouse suite of Trump's all gold spot down there in New York City, and they would let Barron just like crawl around the whole place, the whole floor by himself. Just watch him on camera and just let him freely roam. But you've got Elon's boy. He looks a lot like his mama. This is obviously scripted, but this is him.
What should I do?
Save America.
And?
Help Trump.
Okay.
It's like, okay. Pretty adamant, son. You'll see more of him throughout the years, I'm sure. Yeah, Elon's boy, they grow up quick and you know it. Look at Barron. Barron's like 13 foot tall. Like a giant. Like literally the Nephilim sprung out in him, right? All right, RFK. Look at this. When someone threatens something, it could change some things, right? And the healthcare industry is getting shook up big time. And even if they're not going to go in and per se do something in certain sectors, a lot of people on the outside are seeing all this action, all this talk, seeing Doge, like I just showed you, all this stuff, and they see RFK, and they're like, oh crap, like, I'm getting out of this, I'm getting out of that. They're jumping out of stocks that are connected to healthcare. Now, we just had this big healthcare CEO shooting, and I'm going to dive into that here in a bit. We got updates on all that. But RFK here, basically walking in and hollowing out these stocks. It's causing them to drop out big time. Now, this could present an opportunity. Okay, again, kind of opportunities that open up out there. You want to try to get them. They don't happen every day. These things shift out here, but I don't know. I want to see what he does, really, more than anybody here at this point, because the healthcare sector in this country has just been used and raped and pillaged, and they came in and threw down Obamacare and tried to enforce it on everybody like a Gestapo. You have to have it or you're getting fined and all this crap. Trump did away with that, though. And that's why I hold on hope. We can sit here and say, yes, it's a left-right paradigm and the game's rigged and all this other stuff. But things are going to happen, and things are going to be reversed. It just is the way it goes. Trump came in, he did that with Obamacare, and that was huge. Instead of forcing you to have to buy something you don't want to. It was Gestapo, and he stopped it. And that showed me that, hey, things can change. He can come in and do some things. He's already done that. So it speaks for itself. But can a RFK come in and do this under him? I say, yeah, he can. It's almost like these guys are just being let loose to... We'll see. Again, healthcare stocks, though, freaking out. People jumping ship and freaking out a little bit. I told you earlier, our manufacturing needs to change. It's a key thing we can do here. Start producing things. Start making things. If you got an idea you come up with and something that's mass produced, don't look to China or some other place to try to do it in a sweatshop like so many have done. It's created this problem. You can see that they've got like double the manufacturing that we do right now. China does. And we need to catch up to that if we want to stand a chance. Really, we need each other. They need the United States economy. If we were to go into a full-blown Cold War, tit for tat, back and forth, tariffs laid out 100%, 1,000%, full-blown war, they would suffer. Everybody would suffer. Everybody would, really. They would choke off so many things. All the electronics, all the rare earth minerals that they control, all of that, everything. I just showed you in the other story. They're already not sending drone supplies. Like, it's begun. It's begun. Everybody knows Trump's the man coming in here, and they seen what he did before. And it's lightweight got some people shook up. It does. Again, world stage or not, these people that are not fully awakened to what's really going on, people are getting shook, man. Well, why haven't we been hit with another pandemic? Well, it hasn't been 5 years yet. We're almost there. Gosh, man. This sucks. 2025 looks to be the year all hell breaks loose. It's just going to. You get the ball rolling, strike teams going all over the place, rounding people up. Then all of a sudden you sprinkle in pandemic and like the bird flu or this disease X that they've been waiting to throw out there. They start rounding up people with those same teams and sending them into these areas to be held. I'm just telling you, man. I'm just saying. It don't look good. It looks like they've been stalling out something happening, keeping it in this like repeated loop. They keep kind of trying to fearmonger disease X and bird flu without like anything really happening. And it's like, what is going on here? Well, like, look now. Here comes disease X. It's spreading. It's taking off throughout Africa. So we have a progression. This disease X. And remember, these are the exact areas right here in the elbow, so to speak, of Western Africa. Here, Congo, all this region. This is where Bill Gates and company have gone. This is where Rockefeller has shops set up under their name. Just look it up, man. And they're going here and they're doing experiments on all these people. And they'll go out to a village and be like, hey, we've got a potential medicine. And people will be like, oh, well, since 20 people have died in the past few weeks, we might as well try it. And they'll just experiment on all these people through deception. And this is why I tell you all the time, Bill Gates can be held in a court of law for a whole bunch of crime. But one is administering vaccines on children at that, and he's not licensed to do it. Okay? And he did it in mass, and those kids went on to have severe injuries. Man, these are people that have let mass amounts of mosquitoes loose in this country. In like South Florida and all these other joints, man. Like, I don't trust none of it. None of them. But disease X is being talked about. But the bird flu. This is the one. So why hasn't it happened yet? Well, as they mentioned in this article, when you play things out, which is what I spend a lot of time doing late at night, thinking all these things out, you go down these different roads and look at the outcomes. Well, does it benefit them? And you have to put yourself in the shoes of the bad guy at the top. And when you do this, and you gotta start thinking like a bad guy. You gotta start thinking like, what are they gonna do next? Like, what benefits them? Well, if they launched a pandemic and Biden and them could claim an emergency, they could beat Trump to the punch because he's gonna already be launching a national emergency. I mean, what trumps what at that point? We know one's coming. day one, we're going to be in a national emergency. And I still don't think people are getting it. It's not soaking into their head what this means. I mean, it's equal to what we were under with COVID and lockdowns. It's a national emergency where he grips full power. Okay, like flexes hard. So it doesn't seem that it would benefit them though right now as much. If they wanted to bring it down on someone, they would want to do it on Trump's watch. And they would want to do it quick, as they're saying here. Last time it happened at the end of Trump's watch. They're saying there's a high likelihood that this whole thing goes into motion somewhere right around transition time. To basically to throw all of his people into the fire. Everybody to deal with this. How are they going to deal with it? And this is going to be, and here's the thing, man. And I told you this. I told you that I told you. We all know we lived through a scam. This go around from 2020 all the way up till they eased up wherever you live. This bird flu is different. Okay? And to me, it's proven it. It's proven itself. In the lab, in the numbers, in all the testing, it's shown, and even all the doctors that are on film, this wipes people out way faster. It's way harsher. It's a different animal. And the bird flu, they have been war gaming for years and years and years. They're on camera saying as much. And they're also on camera warning what they're about to do. And I think it's already begun. I think the first phase of it has begun. It's a tall tale sign. They've jumped the gun or what is to come, what's about to happen. Okay? People are not paying attention, man. You do this, you talk about, remember how the markets dumped last time? Bitcoin went down to like 4,000. I mean, everything dumped out. Everybody lost huge chunks in their 401ks, everything. I warned you. When the next one is initiated out of nowhere and blindsides everybody, just like last time, this one's going to be different because this one's going to drop bodies. And that's what scares me. You know, we've known it the whole time. When Bill Gates was sitting there laughing in 2020, sitting there smiling in multiple different interviews that I shared with you guys. The Stephen Corbett interview. He's like, well, what's the next thing going to happen? He goes, well, in the next 5 years, and that was in 2020. That means that 2025 is what they telegraphed. And he telegraphed 2025 many times. He said the next one. And remember the one with him and Melinda and the thing? He's sitting there snickering like, well, we didn't get him with this one, the next one we will. And like sitting there smiling. Like they have full-blown shown what the plan is here for this next round. And let me remind you, the Bill Gates 666 Luciferus injection, the marker, has not been used yet. It will be. It's what it's there for this event. When you've got bodies stacked up for real, and this is the scary part, because I've seen these visions since back then, and I've prepared. I've prepared. I've given everything I've got. That way I could say I give it everything I got. For those that did not prepare when this hits, for those that just ignored it, went right back to watching everything like it did nothing. They're going to regret it with everything they've got in their heart and soul. You think it's bad watching people that took the jabby dropping dead and dropping all around, dying suddenly? You just wait to the next one. I'm warning you. You don't pull beta test after beta test after beta. What they did was unprecedented. It was legendary on their behalf. They locked down the whole freaking planet, and it was fake. Wasn't mountains of bodies anywhere, and you know it. You know it. You know it. So when the real deal happens, a real pandemic, where bodies are piled up, again, where you don't even want to go touch the mailbox. None of it. It will shut this place down cold. And all these, and I keep thinking, and I keep seeing all these strike teams that are about to be sent all across the country to round up illegals, could be rounding up infected people. Don't you dare say they won't. They've done proven they will. They just need the right setup. Boy, this is it. This is it. Right on schedule. Huh. And guess what they're doing? USDA orders raw milk testing under the guise of a bird flu amid this war on small farms. And that's where it takes it. They're on video. The lady is on video saying, oh, yeah, we've been testing this for years. This is way worse than COVID. And we're going to be going at all the farmers. And we're going to make sure all the farmers get this jab. Or they can't sell. People are not going to know what just rocked them. It's just begun. Everybody's caught up with the holiday season. Caught up in the election, all this. Here it creeps in. We know the plan. So they're about to they learned so much from the last go around. What to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work. And they are targeting our producers, our farmers directly in this next round. And the cat's out of the bag. The cat's out of the bag. If you're a producer of anything out there, get ready. Anything that can catch this. And if it's jumping to everything, it's as they're showing. All over the place. It's in the milk, it's in the meat, it's in the cows, the chickens, it's in everything. That shuts the whole market down. Or means that it all has to be tested, is what they're going to say. And guess what? The people producing this have to get inoculated. If you don't, you can't produce. You can't sell to the people. It's about to go down. Yeah, you remember you heard it here one night. What's it going to matter, though, if you don't have a plan? If you didn't plan to dodge this, I don't know. What I was shown with this, scared, it scared the daylights out of me. Not many things in my life have done that. God showed me. He showed me a bunch of people around me in a spot, in a place that we didn't leave. We pretty much stayed there. And if you left, it was a small group. They left out to go do a trade or this and that. But society was shut down. Completely shut down. Like something out of a movie. There's no going to the gas station. Wasn't no going nowhere. Bodies are dropped everywhere. You didn't want to go nowhere. It was like I was really there. We had to grow our own food and keep it going. Chickens, animals, all that. Keeping up with the water. All of everything. Keeping it going without being able to replenish or get anything from society. Without being able to get anything from society. And God told me, you get ready for that, son. That's what I've done. And if you ain't done the same, I'd damn near say you're out of time. Because it looks like it's about to hit the fan. And I've always compared it to Noah's Ark. Getting the ark ready. It's starting to rain. We're in that window. We always knew it. We always knew this window was where it was at, and we ain't made it out of it. Like pitching a hand grenade in there. They could throw this whole thing into chaos with bird flu. Just remember. I don't forget looking out my window and seeing people going up to people's doors. I don't forget having to have essential papers to get on the highway to go to work. I don't forget none of it. You just wait till it's real bodies this time. And a strike team's going door to door. And that's what you see out your window coming at you. Are you jabbed? Is everybody in your house jabbed? It's like some Gray State stuff. R.I.P. my brother. It's everything we ever warned of. It's about to happen. And it's about to happen on Trump's watch. And I keep getting shown these teams going after everyday people. I'm telling you what, man. Everything's there. All right, look, in the mix of it, let's keep our eye on what's going down right now, though. It's a shakeup. If they don't pull off some events at the end, you can change things. You can change history. They truly can stop these things from going into motion if there's righteous people. But, man, this is a world stage, man. Come on. Everybody's in on this. China locked them down. Russia locked them down. Everybody made them all mass and inoculate. Come on. Everybody was in on this. Played the game. That's how you know it's all a ruse. And that they're all in on it. And that we're, as a people, we're like screwed. Like, in every country, doesn't matter what the nationality is, you're getting played by a government the same way. And we all have been. Y'all been locked down, told to sit down, shut up, mask up, and deal with it. Everybody, whole world. You know it. People got such short memories. I'm moving on. Daniel Penny. Where we at? About the top of the hour here. All right. Let's crack into this. Daniel Penny. Found not guilty of criminally negligent homicide in the death of George Neely during an incident in New York City subway in 2023. Looks like the jury reached this verdict after more than 24 hours of deliberation across 5 days. He is a former Marine. He pled not guilty to all these charges of second-degree manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. And this follows an altercation in which he placed Jordan Neely in a chokehold in a subway. And the guy ended up dying. So, this took place around May 1st, 2023, when apparently this Jordan Neely, he was unhinged at the time. He boarded the F train. He had a lot of erratic behavior. He was shouting threats at passengers. Penny placed him in a chokehold, technique that he learned in military service, for several minutes, till the dude stopped moving. And he was later pronounced dead. And this reminds me so much of, like, other things we've witnessed. George Floyd, which turned out to be what? With all the false information, that they were pushing with it. This Neely guy that died, I mean, rest in peace. You don't never want to see no one lose their life, first and foremost. Even though he was coming on there and he was shouting, everyone has bad days. Okay, so I don't never like to see a lost life. And I'm sure Daniel wasn't trying to kill him and didn't want to kill him. I mean, I would think. Because I could see just anyone stepping up to do this to try to quiet the threat in the smoothest, instead of punching him or doing any of these other things. That's the smoothest way to do it. It's simple jujitsu. You slap the choke on him. You can put him out. You can neutralize the problem. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say more than that, like 9.5 out of 10, the person's going to wake up or they're going to revive. You see, I see it all the time, man. I've been dealing with fighting for decades, all my life. I've seen some of the craziest stuff that you could ever imagine out there, man. Like just the street fights alone. But to put this guy down, I've seen it done so many times in bars or here and there. It's just a simple maneuver, and it's just unfortunate this guy stopped breathing. Well, I believe the drug tested that he had drugs in his system, and either way it goes, they found this guy not guilty. And I'm wondering if they're going to try to jump on him and attack him, similar to how they did Kyle Rittenhouse, that used the gun in Kenosha and shot somebody in defense, and they tried to get him for murder, all this other stuff. They tried to attack him and do all this other crap. Well, he ended up winning. But then, like, riots and protests and all this other stuff were launched because of him. Well, I wonder if that's what's about to happen. Because there's another side to this coin with Daniel Penny here. Because the threats are flying.
How you feeling?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
He's feeling good. He's feeling good. He's feeling good.
This is him celebrating.
What's up?
We're
Come together.
I'll show the threats in a second.
How's it going? How's it feel?
Feels great. He's finally got the justice he's deserved.
Did you think it was going to happen?
Sorry? No, we think that this should have happened probably on day one, but the point thing is it happened. So we can't control the timing of it, but we can certainly savor the outcome.
And why do you think it was not guilty?
That's
Instead
him.
of
That's that guy.
Well, he's not guilty on a few different reasons. Because his actions were justified. He was trying to help people on that train, and he did. And number two, he's not responsible for the death because the death was caused by a lot of other factors that we tried to present with a lot of clarity, such as the K2 abuse and the sickling crisis. And cardiac issues, not to mention the paranoid schizophrenia, which only added to that impact. So I'm just glad that the jury was able to truly evaluate that as a potential cause of death, and that Danny was justified in the actions that he took.
So you can see there, they're celebrating. They're happy that a man's not convicted of murder, of killing someone in this instant. But there's two sides, to every coin. He gets death threats coming his way. Immediately. And as soon as he's cleared on this outside, the people start to go crazy. The death threats fly. I posted one on my Twitter. I'll dig that up here, from a woman letting the threats fly. And then you've got this guy. This is the New York BLM leader is what they're calling him now. His name's Hawk. I thought that they said that he was connected to baseball. Let me just play this clip.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I'm tired.
Tired.
You see, this is the other side. Now, this is his dad. This is the guy that died. Neely's dad. They said this guy didn't really care for his son because he didn't see him for like many years of his life and like didn't help him take care of him. Like, I don't know, but this is him.
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts. What are we going to do, people? What's going to happen to us now? I had enough of this. The system is rigged. Come on, people. Let's do something about this.
Let's do something about it. Too often, we have Eric Garner's mother here.
So, you know, he just comes up and he's like, let's do something. He didn't have a whole lot to say. He said, let's do something about this. That was about it. You could hear the chants in the background, BLM and all that. They're looking to march at this point. And you know, I don't know what city they're going to target, but probably, you know, the city right here where it all went down is going to see the biggest chunk of it in terms of protest and things like that stemming from this. I don't know if we'll see something nationwide. If it flares up, I don't know. I've been covering events and stuff like this for a long time. And what's crazy is in some situations, they'll come out hard. And in others, they don't at all. And really, in the past, it's where's George Soros at? You know, if they're cutting checks like they did in Ferguson and all these other places, Baltimore, if they're cutting checks to the protesters, then you're paying people to cause chaos. If you start seeing people getting bussed in, you start seeing things on social media like there's a planned march or there's a planned something in this city, in this city, in this city, and it all starts to go that way. Well, then you know that they're in action. There's always going to be, I mean, people are going to feel some kind of way. These people that feel the opposite of Daniel Penny, that feel like this man was murdered, choked to death, and all that on this side. Again, it's two different sides, and I know how they like to do. They like to come and throw fuel on the fire. You got to watch out for it. Much love, Uncommon. Thank you for that super chat from earlier. I just now seen that. If I missed anything else, much love and thank you. So, you know, Daniel Penny, the latest thing that could fire up oh, I already played that clip. And here was another one. They're saying this woman right here on the left, she was saying the same thing, calling for him basically to go out and start attacking white people. And it's just like, man, what the? You know, so there's always someone out there trying to kick some kind of race war or something up. I've seen it time and time again. But that is the latest in that situation. On the back end of it, you've got Steve Bannon talking about giving Daniel Penny the Congressional Medal of Honor. So it's the first thing I feel is like this is politicizing it, big time. And you knew someone would come along and do it, and of course, someone like Bannon, of course, is going to do it. He was supposed to have gone to prison for 4 months and came out with a fresh tan, which they still can't explain. So much of this thing is I've learned throughout the years, man, that so much of this is like rigged. Even the little fights and rumbles I've seen have been staged and rigged, and confrontations all for views. And that half the stuff is not what it seems. It's like literally there's a big team of these people that orchestrate. This is like the real Hollywood. And they're doing it and they're faking out people in real time, in real life. Going along with the script like it's some kind of real-time movie. It's ate up. I don't think that this goon, Bannon, after what we've discovered, spent much of any time in a prison cell at all. And remember the dude last election, or the dude around J6, the dude with the bullhorns and all that stuff? He was telegraphed in The Simpsons, which was insane. That he had all these things, and he was an actor. He went to jail and got out and all this stuff, and we found out all these connections. It was nuts. Push on to this next one. The feds accusing HelloFresh now of employing migrant kids at a factory in Illinois. Wow, this is we've had several of these companies that deal with meat and packaging meat. Smithfield was one. Chinese. They're saying they're using very young children. HelloFresh, the latest company to get hit with this. This is a German meal kit company, HelloFresh is. So I'm telling you, using to child labor all over the place is getting out of hand. You're seeing more and more and more of it. All right, let's jump into another big story here that we've got updates to, and this is to this whole shooting that took place of the United CEO. This is the alleged shooter that shot and killed Brian Thompson. This is what they're officially saying, whether it's the truth or not. But this, and thank you, Illuminati, Kentucky. Hey, congratulations, sir. And thank you for the coffee, the support, and the love. Much love. God bless. This is Luigi Mangione. That's how you say it. This is the shooter. Again, per what they're telling us and feeding us now. Now, this is definitely not the dude in the one image that they had showed. But they showed several different images. Several different images were floating around out there. But you can't see a resemblance in the features here. This is the guy they say did it. And that there is all types of evidence. There he is. They caught him on the camera in a cab. They tracked him back to Pennsylvania. And they found him. I told you I'd come back around to McDonald's. They found him in a McDonald's. customer in there recognized him and snitched him out. I guess the eyebrows and the nose and all, just the eyes and all that or whatever right there. That was enough to be seen on social media. Cigarettes. Thank you. Yeah, the eyes, all that match. I know a lot of people out there speculating, is this the guy? I've seen polls out there. Is this the guy? Is it another guy? Was it MK Ultra? Is this guy just a patsy? Um, I reckon you could debate on this, and the questions could fly forever. If you don't believe that this isn't the guy, then who do you believe that it is? Any names? I mean, I'm always open to fresh evidence. And this whole story, super suspect from Jump Street. I couldn't share the footage of it, but I'm sure you guys have seen it floating around out there. It's on X. Of the whole shooting and the guy fiddling with the gun and then going over the potential weaponry. And then how this guy just so happened to go by all these cameras and they picked him up, ditching stuff in the trash. Then the backpacks didn't match. The guy in the one photo had a black backpack, black backpack strap, but just go look at the video. Never, anywhere, at any time did the guy walking around have a black backpack. Never. It had the silver straps the entire time, which, again, there was two different images being shared. And why was that? And why was the off image, the wrong image, so to speak, being pushed hard by some of the big shills out there on social media? Well, they said that they found this guy, and here you go. This is how you know something super suspect. They caught him with the manifesto. It's like one of the first things. His manifesto ran it against the healthcare industry. So he just so happened to have a manifesto in his pocket at McDonald's while he sat there. Like, man, like, this... this whole thing. They say that he's anti-capitalist, that he ranted about the healthcare industry and its massive profits, and that he also had some kind of surgery or something with his back that I guess maybe they didn't want to pay out or he had an issue with, which could have led to all of this. It's the backdrop they're putting on this. He is facing gun charges in Pennsylvania. They're saying he's detectives traveled to PA to interview him. NYPD detectives. The gun may have been made in a 3D printer. It's what they're trying to say now. So you see where this stuff goes? You see, they say that he was in possession of a ghost gun. And that he had a suppressor. So these are the things that fly out at me right there. It's the NYPD saying this. But they got a man. It's all highly suspect. What do you guys think? Whole thing just has red flags all over it. Anytime we've ever seen something with all these earmarks, it's like a tall tale sign. Walks like it, talks like it. Yeah, it's it. It's one of their events. Yeah, and it just some of these things you never get full scale answers for. You could talk about it forever, wonder forever, but it looks like they're trying to put this one to bed and push on. And this is the man. That's the man that's going down for it. Patsy or not. It's just all suspect. It's just totally suspect and suspicious. I knew it. It reminded me so much of the Boston bombings. It did, because I tore that apart. If you guys missed that event years ago, when the event went down, we did a lot of research. I dove in and I found footage on the street cams of people going in and going out of the area that was bombed in Boston during the marathon. And I seen two dudes that looked like agents straight up walking in with this big old backpack, square backpack. They had a silver square on top of it. It was insane. Walking in with it and then later running out in all the chaos without it. Then we looked at all the shrapnel and all the debris that was on the ground and seen that silver square. We knew it. We solved it right there. Oh my, they hated that. They tore down the videos. They attacked me. It was bad. But we smoked it. And we knew then that the backpack was key. And then when I saw this and I seen there was two different color backpacks in the image, I was like, are you kidding me again? It was a deja vu type of thing. The Tsarnaev brothers. Y'all remember that? Huh? Man, we've covered a lot. So, this is what this guy says. He says, when all other forms of communication fail, violence is necessary to survive. And this is what was in, it says, it's part of this manifesto. I'm guessing he had all this, if he had the gun, he had the manifesto, he had all this in his pockets in McDonald's. Anyhow, this is the dude that ended on this with the manifesto. If I get any more information connected to this, I'll update you guys. But I will say this as an exit here on this. On why would it have been done in the first place? Who could have done it? Why? Blah, blah, blah. This is the cover story, okay? But I'm going to tell you that we already know the company of the guy that got shot had ties in with Palo Alto, and that is Nancy Pelosi. And that whole crew. And the guy was being investigated, the guy that got shot and assassinated, he's being investigated for high-level insider trading. Okay? Which, if you think about it, if you are him and you are doing high-level insider trading with someone like Pelosi and all these others that somehow just got $240-some million, it looks like a cover. It looks like, just from a distance and looking at it, it looks like, the corrupt Pelosi insider trading with this guy. He's being investigated all of a sudden by the feds. Well, we need to hush him up. He needs to be silenced. He needs to be silenced, you see. If you're them. Send in the assassin to do the hit. And whether it was this guy or not, this guy's taking the fall for it. It happened. We know that. But why? Why? That connection to the insider trading in the feds and the whole thing right there, it says it all to me. That is where the energy pulls me to and toward. And I think that's where you find your suspects. Yeah. All right, well, we'll move on. This was an interesting one. We have a new audio recording that suggests that the Kentucky judge that was gunned down by a sheriff, he was running like freak-offs, like a brothel, in his chambers. And now we're starting to see and understand why. These little bits and pieces have been coming out, like what caused this man, the sheriff, to shoot and kill this judge right here. It's all caught on camera. What would cause him to do that? Well, from everything we've pieced together thus far, it looks like this judge was doing just that, and that he had this man's daughter, this sheriff's daughter, involved in this. And this man, I'm telling you right now, this judge sexual relations with this sheriff's daughter. Let's just put it that way. That's why he got killed. That's why. So you're trying to understand the whole situation, what happened here, and why this sheriff, this man that knows the judge, just looked at his phone. Just looked at the judge's phone. I guess he acted like his phone wouldn't work or wouldn't make the call through, and asked the judge to use his phone. Got the judge's phone and went to hit it and seen his daughter's number in his phone, and it was done. He knew it. He knew that it was true. He knew that it had happened. I'm sure he was already told by his daughter all these other details. He knew it. He knew. And he was there to confront him, and when he got his confirmation, he finished it. He's like, dude, you touched my daughter? And he shot him. Cigarettes, gifting the memberships to everybody. Thank you and welcome to the underground. Those who get it. So, it's crazy in the footage. He shoots him and he leaves and he walks around and comes back and he sees he's squirming on the ground. He shoots him and he finishes him off. And they've got him arrested and he's facing these charges. But he's like, hey, I'm trying to let people know I've heard backstory of information from people that know stuff into here. I'm from Kentucky. And I've got some of my peoples that have directly told me that there's word already on the street that this was going down. Things like this with this judge. It was all dirty like this. He was basically having sexual relations with female people that were caught in jail to let them out early. He was doing all types of sick stuff, like crazy stuff. And people are saying mayor also. Well, hey, this is going to tie into a whole bigger ring. It always does. You don't do something like this, a judge of a whole freaking town here, and be getting away with it forever, and not ever a bunch more people being involved. And him being the judge kind of had him by the kahunas, like blackmailed. I'm sure he had. Well, it's all coming out now, just how dirty all this was. It's sad I had to come to this, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. You spin your own karma out there, and the judge is going to make a determination on the guy that shot this guy. But they've got basically proof here. They've got it here on audio. I want to play a small bit so you can hear what they're saying about this whole thing. There's the sheriff, right? They don't even have him cuffed. He's standing there. And they don't have him cuffed because There he was, right there. I don't think they showed.
One block at a time,
Right here.
and this was not a good thing that I was listening to. And let's take a listen to it, and then we can talk about it.
But he does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers.
What kind of stuff?
Just with girls, sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the videos?
I've seen one partly, just them having sex with girls for their baby to get out of jail.
Who was having sex?
Ben and just some higher ups up there.
Who?
The judge and.
You saw the video.
Yeah.
What did you see on the video? I mean,
I've seen Judge Vaughn having sex with a girl.
Who was the girl?
I don't know. Because I don't know a lot of people from over there.
Where was it at?
In his office, in the judge's chambers.
Is that the same place that you were meeting Ben? Is that how you know it was the judge's chambers? And this was Judge who?
Mullins.
Allison, wow, that's pretty clear. That's her saying Judge Mullins was having sex with these people in his chambers, just like the other deputy. Here's the question I have, because it seemed to me that it became an open secret among female inmates that you can sleep your way out of jail because these men and these higher-ups, not the ones necessarily on the screen, this is an allegation only, will have sex for these release favors.
That's correct. And by the way, the Sheriff Stein, denied during his deposition, which was a couple of days before the murder, that he had he had any idea that any of this was going on. But the fact is that the plaintiff in the lawsuit, again, Sabrina Atkins, said that she had heard rumors and that you could exchange sex for not having to wear your ankle bracelet. She didn't say that specifically, but for some favors. And that's exactly what ended up happening, because she couldn't afford to pay for the ankle bracelet. You have to pay for the ankle bracelet weekly. And those are the allegations in the civil lawsuit, that Sheriff Stein should have known or knew about what was happening with Ben Fields. And Sheriff Stein is the big name in that lawsuit. It's Sheriff Stein and unknown superiors and Ben Fields. So he was facing some heavy damages and the loss of his entire career based on this civil rights lawsuit. And frankly, the plaintiff's lawyers told me, Ned Pillersdorf has told me several times, because it's like they were running a brothel out of that courtroom.
Unbelievable. Well, I feel like it's just the tip of the iceberg, because there's still a lot more to connect Stein's allegedly murdering the judge based on what the judge maybe would have said to bring Stein's more into this picture. So you're invited back, anytime, just knock on the door and you're on. Allison Weiner, great. Thanks for watching.
No, what they did not say right there was having to do with his daughter, which they're all trying to keep hush. This is way bigger. This is huge. It's a huge ring. I mean, judges are Masonic anyway, and are part of a ring, a lot of them. And a lot of them, not all, but these circles run deep. And let me tell you something. You have to think that you are like untouchable to be this brazen to do this. To sit there and take it to this level. I mean, when you hear about corruption in a town, this is about as low dog dirty as it gets right here. When the whole town's built on corruption, sure, you get pulled over, you get thrown in jail for fucking to sleep your way out of it, blah blah blah. No, like this was some heinous stuff. Now, there's also word that, as she was saying there, that the sheriff was tied into this as well, in terms of having sexual relations with some of these women. I mean, this runs deep. You're talking all types of people involved. That lady that was there being interrogated that you just heard talking, the guy interrogating should have slowed down a little bit and just shut his mouth. He was going too quick. He asked for names. She says with the judge, and then he jumped right into another question. Didn't even give her the breath to get another name out. She could have simply said the sheriff, or she could have named any other person right there. He just didn't give her the window. It's it's corruption, man. Corruption. And I'm glad it's getting struck into the light. It's a shame that, death had to be a part of the story and all this, but man, this is where it all leads, man, in the end. These circles like this. Corruption. And just imagine, it's going on deeper than this elsewhere. We just seen that story, what was it, out of Tennessee, where all those people in that place are getting charged, they're in trouble for having sexual relations with people that come in and out, like a dozen people. It's a hose. All right, the IRS expanding its armed wing to the highest level in nearly a decade. And you thought it was bad before. Like, they're arming up like last minute. What you got planned here? Like, what is Doge? What is the Trump administration? What are they going to do to this then? When they come in here? What are you going to do? How are you going to dismantle this? What are you going to do here? Huh? You going to take all their guns away? Huh? Like, these are things that need to be brought up big time. Why do they even have guns? Enforcement divisions. Like, talk about wasted money and all this. Like, if they don't touch this and don't go through this with a fine-tooth comb, like I said, we're going to be watching everything. Let's go to the polls. See what they're saying. As history would have it right now, it's going down that Ronald Reagan was the best president we ever had. And then followed by Barack Obama. This is so much garbage statistics. He buffaloed, I will say he had a lot of people buffaloed back then. But like now, you can see it all over. Like, a bunch of people are not falling for his crap. Then Bill Clinton, then George Bush, W. Bush, then Jimmy Carter, and then Senior Bush. Then Donald Trump, which, again, that's a lie. That much negative percentage on Donald Trump, that's... I mean, and that's what they did to him last time. Throughout this whole thing. His plus percentage on theory. Look, man, I grew up at the time of Ronald Reagan, but I don't ever recall, and I don't know, maybe you guys can dig up some footage and show me. Were there parades, in like boat parades that said Reagan, and were the stadiums packed like all the time? I mean, I'm just asking, curious. I mean, I will say, when Obama came out the gate, there was a lot of audience, but that fell apart. Trump just packs it. I've seen it with my own eyes. This is just like, false poll numbers again. You got Nixon there, and then you've got Joe Biden at the bottom. I'm just saying, man, not to defend Trump, but Trump has packed stadiums. I've seen more people get behind that man in this country than any other person politically in my life. When I take it to the streets, I've gone to all these places, RNCs, DNCs, whatever, inaugurations. I see what the people are backing. I've been to these rallies. I've been covered both sides. The other side's like not even worth covering. They're so measly and puny and pathetic. There's like no one there. There's more action from the other side, from their BLM in events like that. They're foot soldiers in the streets. But anyhow, Biden going down the tubes. Big time. Let's shift it up. Trump announcing a new White House addition, and it is his attorney, Alina Habba. She is now the counselor to the president. It's like, man, I'm going to have to go through one day and to see all these stupid positions. It's just musical chairs. Taking everybody that's in the club, in the tent, and shuffling them around. Really, it's all it is. Oh, and here's another perfect example. Remember Matt Gaetz that was supposed to be this, and it was catching all that flack? Well, all of a sudden, remember Ron DeSantis is going to be pulled in for Secretary of Defense or something, whatever, spot in Trump's administration all of a sudden? Well, that means the governor position's wide open. Well, now look who's stepping in. Matt Gaetz for Florida governor. This was planned all along. When he stepped down and says, I'm going to be fighting it from a different way and all this, and tried to say he was just going to sit around and do videos for $500, which I thought was ridiculous. And he was doing them, but yeah, that's right. He stepped down out of his positions and was just sitting at home doing videos for people for $500. I'm like, who's paying this guy $500 for videos? But like, people would be like, hey, we wish my dad a happy birthday. But it's stuff like that. And do a 2-3 minute video. And he would do it. He's doing it and selling them. I'm like, what in the? I'm like, that's not fighting the fight. So like, what are you talking about? Well, now we know. Now we know. Cat's out of the bag. Big news coming next week, says Gaetz' wife. Oh, well, it looks like it's out the bag. Matt Gaetz for Florida governor. Gaetz. I always call him Gaetz. Gaetz. However you want to say it. Looks like Sonic the Hedgehog to me. He's the establishment goon. We'll play this clip. Trump.
Let me ask you, sir, as you think about your inauguration, I remember your first inaugural address, you talked about American carnage. Have you thought about your message for your second inaugural address?
I have.
Can you give us a preview?
We're going to have a message that will make you happy, unity. It's going to be a message of unity. And again, I think success brings unity. And I've experienced that. I've experienced it in my first term, as I said. We're going to be talking about unity. We're going to be talking about success, making our country safe, keeping people that shouldn't be in our country out. We have to do that. I know it doesn't sound nice, but we have to do that. But basically, it's going to be about bringing our country together.
So this talk of unity. Peace, peace, peace. Yeah. Well, maybe he should go over to Saudi Arabia and teach them a little something about peace. Mr. Peace, peace, peace. Maybe you should call them all up, Bin Salman, King over there. Be like, hey, you think you guys can knock it off a little bit? You guys getting a little out of control. Saudi Arabia breaks the decapitation record. That's just knowing that they're killing people for lesser crimes over there, like they're killing people that don't deserve it. Let me put it that way. Should they be flogged, caned, or just put in prison, for a lengthy amount of time for their crimes? Probably, because there's crime everywhere and there's criminals everywhere. But because a dude stole a bike or, robbed a store, made a bad decision, kids make mistakes, things of that nature. I'm not talking anything, if you're talking your rapists, your murderers and things like that, it's just like, okay, you really can't argue. They're going to do what they want there. Capital punishment, however you see it, whether it's, an IV or the electric chair or a firing squad or the guillotine or whatever it is. But just killing people, period, is punishment. It's just, Yeah, you're found guilty. You robbed the store and then you were caught talking crap about the king. You're dead. And they round you up, they tie you up, they take you out, they chop your head off. And nobody does anything. It's like, you kidding me? It's like, that's not somebody's son or friend or... I guess everyone's scared. When you do this, you create this fear that if you say anything against it, they'll grab you and they'll chop your head off. Dude, this is garbage. You talk about all the places that wars have been waged and places that we've gone to war with and taken out their leadership and this and that. Saudi Arabia is gone untouched. Major reason for that is the whole petrodollar and everything to do with the U.S. dollar and backing it. But they don't do that no more. They've left. They've done signaled they're going with BRICS and everything else, which is a crazy move. I don't see how we don't go to war with them on this world stage for them doing that when we've done it to everybody else. We'll see here. This pipeline that should be going through Syria, it's going to have to go through Saudi Arabia. I'm sure they're going to get a piece of it. Piece of the pie. Trump, Mr. Peace, calls for an immediate ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia. He keeps saying it, but he came out and he made it official. Apparently, he just met up with all these people in France or whatever and met Zelensky, shook hands. Both sides basically laid out, Russia and Ukraine laid out what they want to happen. But Russia says right here that Ukraine must withdraw completely from Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhzhia, the Kherson. All those areas officially annexed by Russia and that have been enshrined in the Russian Constitution, which make it final. They're not giving them up. That's in stone. What Russia's fought for and laid all these lives down for, all these places they've taken over and they're in control of right now, they're not giving up. They've raised their flag. They're not going to advance. They'll back out of some of these other towns that they didn't mention here and these other fronts. But everything from Crimea all the way up to the northernmost spots, they're keeping. They're keeping. Well, then there's a problem here with the whole peace plan because Zelensky rejects Trump's demand for Ukraine peace. Well, I tell you what, little old Zelensky's just about to get cut off, period. It's just about to happen. He can sit here and say this and that and throw a temper tantrum, but he's not going to get his way. End of story. The money flow's already been cut off. Biden and them are scrambling to send a record amount of weaponry there last minute, which makes you wonder, what are they up to? Trump saying peace, 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 but then again that prophecy, and then comes sudden destruction. Zelensky says, what about all of our other areas? Like, we've got to work out a deal. He's basically saying it's more than just saying that and putting it on a piece of paper. And he brings up these other areas that have been taken in Ukraine. And he's basically saying that they want those back. And Russia's like, no. So this is the hurdle. This is the biggest hurdle. All the places they want back that Russia's not going to give up. There's going to have to be some kind of compromise at this point. And Zelensky's going to have to back out at this point. When the funding gets cut off, it's only a matter of time. They've the people of Ukraine voted, and they're not sending their youth because they've been sending everyone like 25 and over, even older, man, all this stuff, and people have been fleeing, like 200,000 people fleeing or something crazy. And the United States was like, look, you need to drop your conscription age from 25 to 18, and that opens up a huge window, and you can basically go have all those men murdered. They refused to do it because it would have sparked a wave, an exodus out of Ukraine. They were already tracking them down at the border and all this other stuff, and they were going into nightclubs late at night and finding them and catching them and taking them off to send them to the front lines. It's insane. To be killed, to be literally just be slaughtered. It's insane. I mean, what's it worth to send a soul or somebody to the front line? You're basically kidnapping them out of a nightclub, taking them to a base, telling them they're going to do this and that, and driving them to the front lines, dropping them off, and then tell them to go to this trench where there's guns, food, weapons, and all this. I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, they're about to die. They have no real training. If no real training, none of them get it. And they don't want it. These guys are going kicking and screaming out of these places. They don't want to be there. Imagine if they're doing it here. Trying to round you up to send you off to the war. Here is a big move that could affect the deal. The United States has a bill that would reverse these missiles going into Ukraine. It would take it all back, reverse it. And it would show Russia that they mean business in terms of trying to talk peace here. Because things are heating up out there. Let's just look at Syria. This has a lot of people shocked. Or kind of dumbfounded. Like, hold on, what just happened? Like, did I fall asleep and wake up and it was over? Like, yeah, pretty much. It happened. It fell in a night. In a single day. But it wasn't laid to waste like Isaiah 17 calls. Isaiah 17 says that it will be laid to waste where people won't roam no more. Completely desolate. You know, like nuked. Like nuked. Mini nuke, compact nuke. When Assad is out of there. And what happened is all of a sudden you had Turkey's leader, Erdogan, make a comment and say, yeah, we expect this should go down fairly quick. And it's like, hold on, how's that? He's like, we called Assad, and Assad said, yeah, he doesn't want any problems, so he'll just give it up, and he's leaving. And he did. And he left. And there were cover stories floating around out there, and he went down in a plane, all this other crap. But he went straight to Moscow. And Putin gave him asylum. Him and his family. Him and his immediate family got asylum to stay in some protected conclave there in Moscow, I'm sure, for the rest of their days. So, to go step by step here, and I'm going to get to this new leader and all that. Trump makes a statement and says that we shouldn't get involved in what's going on in Syria. We should just let it play out. Well, that's kind of a garbage statement because everybody that's on the ground is backed by the West. So that's not sitting on the sidelines and not getting involved. That's garbage. HTS is just al-Nusra Front rebranded. We've created and backed all these fronts. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Boko Haram, you name them. Created and funded them, and you know it. If you know anything, we've seen it time and time again. When we've seen them arm ISIS and the caliphate that was in where? Syria. That's right. The caliphate, remember, they just disappeared, right? They just rebrand, rename these places, and they can't hide it. Even the new leader is a former Al-Qaeda leader. They can't hide it. And again, I'm going to get to that. The dude just walks right on in. Walks right on in, not a shot fired. How is this possible? It's possible because huge deals were worked out on this world stage through back channels, obviously, that made this whole thing go down like this. It got Assad off to Russia into hiding peacefully, quietly. He told his whole military to fold and back down and fire no shots. They did, and this group rolled right on in. This new group rolled right on in, took control of everything, have control of everything. And Assad's gone. The era of Assad, the family name is over. It's over. Okay? Trump also says there's a reason Syria fell and Russia and China stayed out of it. Oh, really? Really, Trumpy? Keep talking. Because when he says these things, now he's letting it be known a deal was made. It's obvious now. And Russia and China stayed out of it. See, there's a whole bunch of hidden information. As the OBS disconnected and connects for the first time tonight. But I just think that some of these statements by Trump just give it away. He's going around trying to be this man of peace. But things just don't make sense on this world stage. It's all a show. It's all a circus. All these are examples of why this is a world stage. It's all farce. All right? Damascus is now ruled by Al-Qaeda in suits. Yeah. That's what it is. This guy. What they want to call the new rebel leader? Well, no, it's just their old general, one of their old main dudes regurgitated. And here he is without the headgear and all this, just more cleaned up. Yeah, and they come in suits. So they have full control. Full-blown control. It's just been handed over. The people feel sold out. I mean, I feel their pain. The people of Syria that fought all these fights and were standing to protect their country. No, dude, they just got sold out in a night. They just woke up the next morning and it's like, what? Who is this guy? Well, it's your new leader. What? Yep. Assad's gone. He's in Russia. These people are pissed. They are. People were looting the presidential palace, and they were taking all the stuff. People were going, smart ones were going, they were going to the other places. They were getting all the gold. And they were getting that. I mean, this was a lick to be had. Some people got in there and got a piece of it, dude. They were. But now, new power is in control. So, who's backing this? Who's backing this goon that just walked in? Isn't it? Let me clear the smoke for you, and let me paint the clear picture. This is obvious, a huge operation that was just conducted. Stealth mode by the West. Trump just gave it away. Huge deals were on the table. I already told you this. I tweeted all this out. Erdogan and Turkey were a major part of it. Israel and the Mossad were the biggest part of it, as you're about to see. They had tanks on deck. They had jets ready to start pounding. How were you that coordinated with this goon on the ground if you weren't coordinated with him? Their actions speak louder than than anything. Everybody was there, the tanks lined up, the jets fueled, ready to go. You only do that and do it so quickly when it was planned, when it was all planned. And it's a dead giveaway. It was all planned. And you see it. If you have the eyes to see, you can see clearly. So this is one of their regurgitated puppets that they just installed. And who does this benefit more than anyone? Greater Israel. Do you understand? Al-Sisi in Egypt is Mossad. Okay? He's controlled. They're already checked off the list. They must feel pretty confident about Saudi Arabia in the same way. Or, in the end, the ire is going to turn toward them. You got to keep your eye on Jordan. What is about to happen in Jordan? It has to be fully consumed. It does. It has to be fully consumed. Do you remember me saying it? For them to get what they want. Lebanon as well, fully consumed. And they've already launched there. They got to go back down to Gaza and get it fully, wipe it up. What they just did with this move in Syria is crazy. Look at this. Look at this. And you want to tell me, got these, I want to call them some bad names, got these fools over on social media, and sometimes they're bots, trying to sway the opinion out there. Sometimes they're not. They're just dumb people. You got to correct them. They're like, it's not the West. How do you have proof? It's not Israel. It's not the West. It's not. It's like, shut your mouth. It's like, Dabu, if you've got something against the Jews, I'm unsubbing you. Dude, you want to make stuff up, first off, and insinuate crap. That's garbage. And that's what trolls will do too. But it's pretty obvious one of my top dudes is the ugly Jew. You kidding me? Like, that's crap didn't work around here. Okay? But please do unfollow me with your garbage. If you're blind enough that you can't see that the Mossad is genociding all these people, and if you want to stand with that, then just get out of here. Okay? I ain't down with genocide of no one. Okay? And I love all people, all colors, all backgrounds, all nationalities. It's pretty clear. All my people are all colors. That don't work around here, dude. So you just kick rocks with all that crap. Anti-Semite crap that you want to try to play or any of that. Ain't working. Ain't happening. I got people listening from Israel all the time that send me information, even warned about those attacks that went down in Tel Aviv. They even warned me of the Yanuka, the dark Messiah that's sitting there right now, performing miracles inside of Israel, waiting to sit in the new temple. Okay? You want to talk about some shit. You shut your mouth with your shilling crap. Get me going. Some of you talk your crap, thinking you know it all, what's going on. You're just running your mouth. You want to try to cite Bible verses, but ain't citing nothing. You just regurgitate crap. Shit you've been regurgitating for a long time. Look, you got me cussing. Yeah, it does upset me and pisses me off when people try to deny the truth, because that's what I stand for. It's what I'm here for. And when it's rather obvious, I don't know what you're up to. I don't know what you're doing. You're either dumb or you're caught trolling for them. One of the two. What does the title say? U.S. bombs 75 targets across Syria. As this happens, oh yeah, shots are fired. They didn't want you to see or notice a bit of it. How many people you think died in all these strikes? How many civilians in these strikes that they ain't say a single word about? People get buffaloed, smoke screened left and right. They bought a piss out of them. And they said, oh, it was ISIS. That's it. Just tell you this. I'm telling you right now, every day people get murdered. Okay? Oh, it wasn't the West. It wasn't the West. Oh, yeah? Shut your mouth again. Get out. They're bombing people all over the place. What's this? What is this? What do we have here? Israel strikes bases equipment, chemical weapon sites. They strike it all. And you would tell me they didn't have nothing to do with it? You can shut your mouth. Just get out of here. Liar. Place going up in smoke. Pounding it out. But no, they ain't got nothing to do with it, right? They ain't got nothing to do with it. They're sitting there pounding it out. Right? Get the... People are stupid. I mean, what reality are some people in? Or is it just trolling? I have a big suspicion that that's what it is, large scale. Because that's how the Mossad operates. Boy, oh boy. They're the nastiest. They're the worst. They're the most cutthroat. And they just took Mount Hermon. Boldly. They proclaim it is theirs. And this is like history being made right in front of your face. Every day now. They've secured and established a buffer zone in the Golan Heights. The Mossad, Israel, the war machine now control the very land where the fallen landed. Out of your Bible. Where Jesus went and preached at the base of these mountains about the wickedness and the gates of hell that were here. They control it full scale. And to think at the top is a huge UN base. And there's a huge scar on the planet. Covered this many times and years ago. I showed it on the satellite imagery. There is a literal mark on the earth. It's scarred, like something impacted it, hit it, or something. Right where they touched down, right where they landed, right where they came down. The fallen, man. So, this is huge. I can't even express how big this is, man. To the dark occult, to a power move, to taking over what's tantamount to a holy site to them. This is, it just blows me away at some of the things we're seeing on a daily basis. They control Mount Hermon. And they can now look right down over and into Damascus from this position. I think it's only 40 kilometers now from this position. You can see here, and they admitted that while all the other bombing and all the other stuff was going on, a lot of the attention was all around Damascus. That Syria really had no military based up here. They basically just kind of rolled in. But they still dropped bombs in all the places around it and everything else. But it's in their possession, man. And you can see they're still just bombing the crap. And it was brought up before. Why would they just continue to bomb like ancient places? They're erasing history. That's why. Why would they, like they did in Iraq and anywhere else? They're erasing history right in front of your face. And of course, it means something to us. But they don't want people to know our true history. The less people know, the more that they can rewrite and they can say it how they want. You know, it's the victor of these wars that always rewrites it. When they're going along erasing it. And that's what they're doing. You know, they're smashing these ancient places, museums, places with all these artifacts, and they're just wiping it out. In many instances, though, they're being looted. As we've seen in Iraq, they tried to make it seem like they were doing that, but they got caught stealing it all, setting fakes up and acting like the fakes were all destroyed to sell the story and still sell all the artifacts. Oh, I'm telling you, man, there's so many snakes out there. I guess people do whatever to make a buck, but it was just, this is a massive move, man. For them to take over the top up here. You're witnessing them expand. You are witnessing them expand into everywhere. And look what this dude's got to say. The finance minister of Israel. He says, the heck with it. Go now. Let's seize control of Gaza. So they're going to swing it back south. He's like, we pretty much stomped them out. He goes, we've got Iran and everyone, all their support there cut off fully. Like, it's a power move. Go. That is what they're screaming now. So if you start to hear that they swung it back down south, smashing Gaza into oblivion, well, this dude brought it up. Said, hey, might as well. Remember, they look to control everything all the way down into Saudi Arabia, halfway into Iraq. And the U.S. done stomped out Iraq, so it's like subjugated already. Okay? If Saudi Arabia's in on this, then they ain't got to worry about it with them. But Jordan's got to go. Greater Israel in their mind runs all the way to the Sinai into Egypt, but Al-Sisi is compromised. I'm telling you, he's on board with Israel, 100%. Mossad and all that. So when you realize it, it's like they already have possession of that. Not officially, but they do. If they control their man at the top, then they do. That's what I'm trying to say here with Saudi Arabia. If they control the men at the top in all these connections, then they control the whole region. Then they've got what they wanted. They want to do the same thing with Ukraine. Ukraine is their brand new Khazaria. It is the new Israel. That is their dream. That's why they're connected. If you haven't seen this yet or made the connection, okay, which I'm about to show you. And Ben Dover says, Christians should flee Syria ASAP. Back in 2013, children were decapitated in broad daylight. Extreme danger to stay there. Look, man, when you've got extreme religious factions of anyone rolling into somewhere, I'm going to pray tonight. I'm going to ask Yeshua, Jesus, Godhead, the Most High, Yahuwah, reach down and save every soul that prays. Open a way out for them. Just like you parted the seas for Moses. Open a way out for every Christian, every true believer, every person that's innocent. Get them out of there. Answer them prayers. Most High in heaven. Because in the end, these wicked people just want to slaughter them. That's all it ever is. The Zayas. You know the plan. We've discussed it. And these are the fronts. And look at this. They're looking at taking the $10 million bounty off the leader's head. U.S. officials. And this, like, dude, is such a stage. Let's see where we're at here. Oh, looking down. Let's see. Russia comments on the fate of its military bases. So this is a huge question. Russia has huge bases in Syria, all kinds of ships and warships and everything, and it looks like the new guys that came in are just gonna act like they're not there. Just like, yeah, we're not gonna bomb them. We're not gonna do nothing. Which is like, what? Like, this is your chance to wipe out a major Russian base. Why would you not do that? Unless the world's a stage. Why would you not sink every ship tonight and totally screw Russia and have them in the palm of your hand? Huh? Why not? Why wouldn't you not do that? Because the world is a stage. It's 11/11. Much love. Yes. And yes. Correct. Syria has been an ongoing ancient city for ever since the time of Jesus, of Christ. Christians have been protected in Syria ever since the days that Christ walked this planet. They have been protected this whole time in even that part of the world. But now, as this whole thing shifts, this is what people, as the comment in the comment section was saying, this is what people got to worry about. And I fully expect the fear-mongering and all that to go into overdrive. And, in the past they had, 8-foot ISIS giants taking people out into a beach to decapitate them and making these movies out of them and the whole Bergdahl thing and lighting them on fire. And it was all a bunch of what was proven to be, propaganda pushed on the people. Large scale. So, you may hear of this term from here on out, and you probably should get used to it. It's called the Omni War. It's just a reference of connecting the two big battlefronts that are pretty obvious right in front of our face. And we are like in the background of both of them. Those are everything going down in Israel, all the fronts and everything that has to do with it. And Trump's going to get in there and back them every step of the way on everything that they do. Okay? That's one front right there. And the other front, obviously, is we're backing is Ukraine. Okay? With the same enemy on both sides in the end. It would be Russia, China, Iran. Now, this is a game changer, man. Now that Syria is like no more, like Assad and like all this is like no more, and like it's basically fell overnight. Dude, this puts Iran in the crosshairs. Do you understand? Do you understand it going all the way back to all the Bilderberg meetings and all the information that we've gotten throughout all the years of where they were going to go with all these wars, even before they did it, into Libya before they did it, then they did it, and then all these other places, what they did to Saddam, what they ultimately did to Gaddafi, what they did all along the way was Syria, and then Iran being that last piece, and it. Syria's gone now. It's done. It's checked off the box, just like that. But maybe not without some major blowback and repercussion. It hits the city. It hits the area. We'll see. This is it. When you start to say Omni-war, what you're doing is you're saying that there's multiple battlefronts being fought across the world by all kinds of different troops from multiple countries. That is, in effect, when you're taking mass casualties, called World War. By definition, Look it up. So I don't know what the heck people are sleeping. It doesn't say, oh, a place has to be nuked or anything like. No, it doesn't. People just are brainwashed. Bad. They're badly damaged. With all types of different propaganda. A lot of people are. With all types of stuff. I mean, we all have taken it in. You just have to have discernment to be able to discern it and to realize it and to know what's going on. Know what they're trying to put upon you. I mean, we're all fed all this stuff, but sometimes people are just small-minded about things. They don't see the bigger picture. Uncommon, I don't know. They're in on this whole thing. And even though he's told crap about Netanyahu and all this other stuff, it's about anything can happen here on the world stage, you're right. They're called theaters for a reason. Okay? Yeah. And they are not. Right. They are of the synagogue of Satan. You got that right. Thank you, Lolita. Hey. Well, as long as I got breath in me. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you for supporting the channel. It's appreciated more than you know. Yeah. We're in a crazy time. We're in World War. You ask me, that's where we're at. We're in World War. It's without a doubt. Without a doubt. That's where we're at. And, it's kind of crazy. I feel like we can get hit at any moment. And when we do, I mean, just look around. Like, all the things we've done, all the red lines we've crossed, everything, like, who did it come from? You're going to wait for the people that set us up, your politicians, to come and tell you over your emergency radio who did it? And blame some boogeyman, point the finger again, when it's always them. When it's always the same ones that set up these things. And they have, time and time again throughout history. I'll never forget when Judge Napolitano went on Fox and just should have told everybody, look, the feds have admitted that they've created all these events just to foil them, just to take credit for them, and that's how it works. And showed example after example after example. The world's a stage, man. It is. And it's all to juke the people and to fool the masses. That's what I've come to learn. They get too awake, they kill them. So I'll finish up here with a couple things. I'll touch on a couple things and shut it down for the night. When it comes to this whole migrant thing and the border, we're coming up on a national emergency in this country. It's about to go down day one. Do not forget it. Don't take your eye off the prize. It's going down. We're going to be slung into a national emergency. So California's making these moves. Los Angeles approves to become a sanctuary city. So this is where you're going to see huge, massive numbers start to swarm in. It may start to be surreal, y'all. Even the people that live there, have been there this whole time, they may not be able to tolerate it, or they're going to be overwhelmed. These sanctuary cities and places like this are going to be. Where do you think they're going to flood to? They're either leaving or going to places like this where they feel safe. And yes, some are leaving because they don't want to get tracked down by these teams. They want to leave on their own terms, peacefully or whatever, not get rounded up and sent wherever. So, the real problem is here, and it's embedded. They were let in. They're sitting on like Chinese-owned property right next to our military bases, and they're not going anywhere until they make a military move. That's the scariest part. And again, why don't somebody bring that up to the Trump administration and to Homan at one of these meetings or interviews? What are you going to do about that? You got to send your strike teams to these properties right next to the bases? And why even bother? if they're right next to a military facility, just wake the boys up in the freaking barracks, tell them to cock up their weapons. We got to go next door and handle some problems. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's like a setup. It's the only thing that makes sense, is that it's a setup. Trojan horse, man. Colby King. Much love. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the love. The California AG asking residents to report if they see anyone, like they want you to snitch out people. Snitch out any agency, anyone that helps these teams trying to get them out. So if, these Homan and his teams, I feel like big battles are going to break out. How can it not? How can it not, man? These people are telling these illegals and murderers and rapists that come here to Cal, come to Los Angeles, fortify here, turn it into Mad Max type environment, straight up. It's what they're doing right now. They're begging for it. You don't think Homan and them ain't gonna go in there and try to hollow it out and do what they do? Oh, they're going to. This place is like this. I'm telling you what. How can it not become a war zone? Down into San Diego, spill across the border. Then you got cartel coming as reinforcements across. Like, dude, they done told you they're gonna label them terrorists, which means they can strike them with the military. Like, dude, people do not understand. We're about to enter a phase this country's never seen. War here in the blink of an eye, overnight. Just like that. And people voted for it. They wanted it. This is the other edge of the sword, man. This is inevitable at this point. Trump's going to go all out. And you know what? You can't say nothing there because rightfully so. The murderers, the rapists, they need rounded up and they need kicked out. It's the mix of it here, man. It's in the mix of it. Of the whole roundups and all that. This fitting get scary, y'all. I'm telling you, if you throw in a bird flu thing and all this, man, with these teams, if these teams get going and rolling, and people just start to see them, and they know that these teams are out everywhere, and it's a thing for like 6 months, a year, and then all of a sudden, boom, they drop something out there, man, those teams, I'm telling you, can easily be transitioned into rounding infected people up. The new Trump policy chief saying, again, the largest deportation operation in American history begins day one. And he was telegraphing that huge things are going to happen this first day on the 20th. Remember, January 20th is the beginning of a high satanic holiday week. It is the biggest satanic week they have. Did you know that? Did you know our evil-ass politicians do it like that? Oh, thank you, Michelle, for the coffees. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you for supporting the channel and the work. Appreciate it more than you know. Man. Oh, man, we're entering such a crazy time. It's time to drop all the smaller crap, get right with the Most High, realize what's about to go down, and I'd have a plan, man. I'd be getting with your buddies. I'd be getting with people. I'd be practicing for these situations. Call it a camp out weekend. Drop all internet, all comms. Do something. Start to prepare. Start to trade also. You got to have a plan. When things start to break down, it's going to get crazy, man. I feel like they're about to turn this place into Mogadishu. I swear to you. It's about to get crazy, man. Can't you see what's about to happen, man? Can't you? freaking setup, dude. Just like all the events were. It's like it all has been. It's like pouring in the enemy this whole time. For 4 years, millions just sitting in here ready to snap. Trying to kill. You think this is going to be an easy one. And the truth is, and Trump says this, when they ask him, so what do? You split up families and this and that? And he's like, no, you send the whole family. You send them all back to where they come from. And it's going to cost a ton of money just to do that. It is. The whole operation. It's just facts of all of it. It's money, money, money all over the place. So you've got more than 15 million that they're admitting now. That's why I told you it was well over 20 before. Thank you again, Colby. Much love. They're admitting 15 million. Right? They're admitting this much now. It's like, what? 15 illegal aliens. 15 million in this. Oh my gosh. I mean, you always thought, a 1,000,000-man army is a massive army. But when you've got 15 million in here, spread out all across the place, this is crazy. Again, this is a setup. It's a setup. A quick update on the drones. They're being seen en masse, and I swear to you, I so want to go up here and research this, but I'm going to run this clip, some of the latest on this.
The day. We'll send it back to you, Ainsley.
All right, thank you, Nate. Well, this morning, New Jersey mayors are fed up, demanding action.
As far as we know, they're not authorized to be up there. I mean, I spoke to the governor last night about 7:30. He reiterated what he said to Matt, that they're very frustrated. They're frustrated with the feds.
If this is a national security issue, we would feel fine if we could just tell our residents, our neighbors, that was the case. And then we would be able to at least know something. What we continue to tell people is the only information we have is that it's not a security issue, but we don't know where they're coming from or what they're doing.
Rachel Campos Duffy captured this video of drones.
Silver.
This is in her own backyard, and she joins us now. Rachel, y'all been seeing these. You were saying prayers with your kids, and they look out the window.
But that footage was actually captured while I was at the Patriot Awards, and my kids were home, and they saw it, they ran outside, and they captured that video.
So it's been more than once you've seen this.
Multiple times. This is all everyone is talking about. If you live in Morristown, Mendham, Summit, Bedminster, that whole Far Hills, that whole area, that's all you talk about. Go to the neighborhood, apps, where, you put in if you lost your dog or your cat. They're all about drone sightings now. Right. And so I think what you're seeing is, first of all, no answers. Whatever the governor put out was a non-answer. Didn't make me feel any better. And I just think we're in this era. You remember when I had my interview with Donald Trump at Bedminster? I'm like, will you declassify JFK? Will you declassify Epstein? Will you declassify the 9/11? And he was like, yes. I think we're in this era where people want more transparency from government, and they are so tired of the lies being told to them by the government. And I think that's what you're seeing right here. People are outraged. 3 weeks.
They are. I mean, look at this. And thank you, Ian, for the super chat. This is, look, I set this right at the gate, that they're too big to be regular drones, and they're right along the lines of military grade, but they have a life. They have a battery life that we have not seen, or a gas-powered life that we haven't seen yet. They're keeping these things hidden during the day, okay? There's something nefarious going on. Do you understand me? There is something very nefarious going on. We have had all kinds of reports that these things are coming in from the direction of the ocean and then disappearing back out that way. How is that? Thank you, Heidi, for the coffee. God bless you. How is it? Where are they coming from? Others say that in some instances they're not heading out over the ocean, but they're coming from a different direction. But they're always leaving and going back the direction they came from. So I would just love to get up here and spend a day or two at least watching the skies at night and chasing these things down. Like, dude, I got a potato gun launcher. Like, come on. I don't really, but I'm just saying. Like, that's the attitude that I've got with it. Like, let's get a camera. Let's take our own drones. There we go. We want me to launch one of our own drones to fly it up next to them. Get close and personal. And then see up close and personal what they're looking like. What they're marked with. Do something. Instead of everybody sitting here running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Like, somebody do something, dude. Like, that's how I feel about it. I wish I could do more. It's frustrating to know that they keep returning like this. It's like, dude, like, we're going to get answers then. The fact that, thank you, Gino, for the coffee. Much love, thank you, and God bless. The fact the military is saying that it's not a national security threat, and that they're not like orbs, that they're like pretty obviously, they're drones. They're not UAPs, UFOs. There's a separation. There's a difference, man. They have the lights, the construction, all that. They're drones. What kind of technologies are on them? Yet to be seen. This isn't good. This isn't good. There was footage of someone seeing something in the sky over Ohio that I tweeted out tonight as well. I'm getting these reports more and more. And look, when your mainstream media news pundits are like flipping out, like, no, like, look, it's happening over our neighborhood. Like, everybody's seeing it. And like the lady said, it's on all forums around there. Everyone's seen it. It's like, again, I ask somebody track these things down. If you're looking for something to do. To earn some stripes from the truther community. And get some answers for everyone. Amen. Hit me up, dabu7@yahoo.com. Keep your eyes to the skies. Always looking for answers. And I'm going to finish up here tonight on this. You guys knew it was coming this way. Some of these people feel or think that they're untouchables. These are some of them. Beyonce, over on her social media account, she calls herself Billionaire B. Her and Jay-Z, and they think that they're untouchable or something. Well, so did P. Diddy and all these other people. Jay-Z is guilty of sin. And this whole thing is coming for all of them. I told you, he wouldn't escape it, and here we are. Now it's official. Now there is an anonymous person naming him in the case with Diddy, saying that he raped his 13-year-old years ago. So he's going in these interviews saying that it's garbage, it's lies. He has to sit his kids down and tell his kids that, explain to them that the world's cruel and people make up mean lies like this to try to attack you and take you down. And this is how they work. Well, you think he's going to sit there and tell his kids? The truth? To what extent do they know things? I don't know. But some of these Satanists and evil people, they introduced their kids to this thing at a young age. Just like Diddy's sons. Diddy's sons are fully in the game. I'm gonna say to an extent that's probably sickening. On like some ancestral nasty shit. But he's training those boys on the whole nine of it, on all the occult, on all the rituals, on all of everything. And that's why when he was speaking in code, telling them to clean up the pizza boxes, he was telling them to get all the rest of the stuff that get them busted, like, out of there. And it was obvious. They're all in on this together. Beyonce's in there. She's done too. They're all done. Queen Bee, you're all done. You're all sitting there trying to find excuses and to work their way out of it. But look, they got Diddy, and it's everybody underneath of it. Even JC would say that, Diddy was the guy who came along, gave us an open door back in the day. The first guy to do it, and all this praise and all this stuff. So Diddy was definitely the gatekeeper. And him going down, even if they're major famous too, Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're done. I mean, they're all done. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. More and more and more. So much more is going to come down. The way that I see this is them checking this ring of if you're them, if you're the world elite, you're looking at them like they're not bloodline. They're just rich brats. They're just from Hollywood and the music industry. And yeah, they've joined the club and this and that, but they're not bloodline or this and that. You see, it's how they think. And who knows? They could think it's time to call the pack. It's what it seems to me. Like, the dudes at the very top are like, screw it. Like, we're taking out all these people. We're just pulling the cards and doing away with them. Like, getting them out of the way. It's this or they kill them. If you haven't noticed. So, they're taking out a whole tier, a whole class. A whole freaking class. A whole generation. Generations of stars and powerhouses. They've got them all. Who has got them all? That Mossad. That Mossad. Same Mossad. Had them through Epstein. Has them this way. The same Mossad that's going on a war-torn binge across the Middle East right now. That same Mossad. They had agents there to report on the events before they happened. Flight 11. Don't you see? Don't you see who it is? Over and over again. That controls all the wickedness. It's the same hand. Dark hand of evil. It's not hiding. It's in the open. And man, I don't know. Yeah, it's all a trap. It's all a freaking trap. Man. Colby King on the PayPal. Thank you. Appreciate it to the fullest. I don't know, man. Final thoughts here, man. Well, there are anyone that's calling for us to be slaughtered, who's the evil ones? Who's the evil ones? I'm going to call you right-wing, this and that. You're full of hate, this and that. You're anti-Semitic, you're anti all this, whatever. They want to say all these things, but yet they're the ones that openly shows their religion calls for killing us. And that Jesus is sitting in crap and hell and all this. Who's the hateful ones? Who's the evil ones? Right there. Who's the ones calling for murder of people? It's not us. We're not. Let's not seeing Jesus preach love and light in all this. Wasn't telling them to take them to the town square like Saudi Arabia and cut their heads off, but hey, he does return with the sword. People forget that. He returns with the sword. He's not coming back for kumbaya, for all these people that live in a fantasy. The King of Kings comes back with the sword. And he comes to separate the wheat from the tare for harvest. And that's what I'm looking forward to. The final harvest. You ask me. Nothing else really matters. Passing this test of life is all that matters. Surviving the second death, which is the death of the soul, is all that matters. And advancing. Yeshua showed you the way out. And many others. You gotta walk righteous. Gotta have faith. Much love to all my pure bloods. It's not over. For everyone that's a pure blood, you passed that test. And salutes for it. But we've got more. We got more coming. Bigger coming. Believe it or not. It's going to thin the pack out. I'm going to tell you right now. Some of you listening are going to go. Because you bow to the beast. One way or another. Because you won't make a stand. Even if they come and they threaten to kill you, you'd still bitch out and bow down. Or find a way out. You gotta give it all to God, man. Put it in His hands. And have no fear. Have no fear. That's what it's all about. I mean, people are gonna fold. People are gonna fold when the economy gives in and they throw them the hidden or undercover CBDC lifeline to save the day, to save them. They're gonna go that route. When bodies are really dropping around them, they're gonna get an inoculation. When their life is living hell and all they got to do is take that mark, they're going to do it. And they're going to break. And it's done. Then you're sitting with the enemy. And you know what comes. But it's just for a short comfort, for a short time. You're kidding yourself. These people that sell out to the beast and the beast system, it's all to be short-lived. It's prophesized. We'll speak it into existence. Yeah, man. I don't know what tomorrow brings, but just stay safe out there, y'all. Stay sharp. As we get closer to the inauguration and the beginning of this next Trump era, I feel like this whole thing's gonna morph for real. Like, appreciate what you got. The days that you're in, even though it seems like freedom's constantly slipping away. Well, the more time passes, the less freedom we have, it seems. And so you're less free as every day goes by. meaning we were our freest long, long time ago. Yeah, tomorrow is Tuesday, isn't it? 15 minutes away from another day as they fly by. I thank you guys for joining me. I thank you guys for all the support, for helping the channel, sharing it, and just being here. Thank you for all the mods, for everybody out there. It's just a truth warrior, fighting the good fight, fighting the righteous fight against these demons. Salutes to you. Much love. I'd love to see some of you guys in the flesh before it's all over. But if not, I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, we're in for some very serious times, Jones. Get money. Never stop praying, as Deanne says. It is key. Whenever two or more do it, there's something magical. Believe in it. Have faith. It's real. As real as the wickedness that you see out here is, the demons, so are the angels, the good guys. You've got to believe. I mean, come on, can't you see the evil, how real it is? There's a yin to every yang. There's the opposite to everything. Do not lose faith. Remember that. It's real. I know it's overwhelming, the evil is sometimes, but you are the light. You've got to be the change that you seek. You've got to represent. Higher power is watching. Much love, Doug. Welcome to the underground. Jay, Hood, Deanne, all you guys, much love. Gonna shut it down, take us out of here, and some music for the night. Pray, pray, pray. Much love. God bless. I see you, Japan. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you, A. Gary Ray. Men of Days. Slime, Dave, Steve, I see you. Seymour. Much love. And Eon. Absolutely legendary. You're the best. Much love. love you all. I'll see you here next time for some underground Love Much love. And I can't shut it down without saying breaking news. 5.7 earthquake hits Nevada.